AWS RDS is actually a pretty amazing service for databases. So here are my 3 or 4 tips. The first one is that I hope you switch over to AWS Aurora, because that's probably one of the easiest ways to reduce your overall management overheads when it comes to your relational database. And so that would be my tip number one. The second one is get to the latest version of Aurora and switch over to Graviton if you haven't done that already, because on the Graviton instances, you're probably going to save at least 20 to 30% because they are more efficient, they are a lot cheaper, and they are even more performant. So that's a big win to have. Then the third tip that I have is that if the difference between your peak utilization and your average utilization exceeds 40%, then you should probably look at Aurora Serverless as a solution, because if most of the time you're going to have your database, operating at lower utilizations, you probably want to move to serverless and leverage the fact that your database itself can scale down depending on the load that's running on it. And the last 2 tips that come to mind. Again, I can talk endlessly about these things, but let me just give you 2 others very quickly. You should right size and use the read replicas judiciously. A lot of the time, folks have problems with their RDS database when they have the normal workload, and then suddenly they decide to do analytics on top of that. Number one, don't do analytics on the same RDS database. And even if you have to do it, try and create a read replica, which is scaled appropriately just to handle your analytics workloads, and then leave the master just for the transactional processing. That way you would actually be way more efficient and a lot more cost efficient. You don't need to scale up to massive instances that just cost a lot more. And the last one is try out DevOps Guru. DevOps Guru actually gives you tons of insights about how your RDS instance is running. And DevOps Guru for Aurora just announced not only MySQL support, but which they had for a while, but also Postgres support now completely. So there are tons of very interesting cost optimization insights that even come from DevOps Guru.